The stars looked different through the window of the new horizon. Captain Jake Morrison had been staring at them for 20 minutes, watching the alien sun grow larger as his ship moved closer to the most important meeting in human history. His coffee had gone cold in his hands, but he didn't care. In 6 hours, humans would meet their first alien race. Jake turned away from the window and walked through the narrow hallways of his exploration ship. The crew was busy preparing for contact. Everyone knew this day would change everything. Some looked excited, others looked scared. Jake felt both. "Captain, we need you on the bridge," came a voice over the ship's radio. It was his second-in-command, Commander Ryan Brooks. Ryan always sounded calm, even when things got dangerous. Today was no different. Jake made his way to the bridge. The main screen showed a massive space station floating in orbit around the alien planet. The station looked like a crystal flower with long arms reaching out from a central hub. It was beautiful and strange at the same time. "The Zellari built that station just for this meeting," said Dr. Lisa Carter, the ship's scientist who studied alien life. She was a small woman with bright eyes who got excited about everything new. "They've never built anything like it before. They usually live on their planet's surface." Jake nodded. The Zellari had been talking to Earth through radio signals for 2 years. They spoke of peace and friendship. They wanted to welcome humans into a bigger community of alien races. But they had one rule for first meetings. Physical contact was required. It was how they communicated with new species. "How many aliens will be there?" Jake asked. 3 or 4, said Emma Foster, the diplomat who would do most of the talking. Emma was older than the rest of the crew, with gray hair and a serious face. She had spent her whole career making peace between countries on Earth. Now she had to make peace between worlds. They don't travel in large groups. They prefer small, quiet meetings. Ryan pointed to the screen. "Our scans show the station has artificial gravity and breathable air. Temperature is comfortable for humans. They really want this to work." Jake looked around the bridge at his crew. Besides Ryan, Lisa, and Emma, there was Dr. Kevin Miller, who studied how brains worked. He was there in case something went wrong with the alien mind contact. There was also Amy Chun, who handled all communications. She was young but smart, and she had learned everything possible about Zellari language. "Tell me again how this contact thing works," Jake said to Lisa. Lisa pulled up information on her computer screen. "The Zellari are telepaths. They read minds by touching foreheads. They share thoughts and feelings directly, no words needed. They say it creates instant understanding between different species. And it's safe?" Jake asked. "They've done it with 12 other alien races. Never had problems. The Zellari are peaceful. They don't hurt anyone." Lisa paused. "They actually can't hurt anyone. If they cause pain to others, they feel that same pain. It's how their minds work." Dr. Miller spoke up. "I've studied their brain scans. They're very different from humans. Much more emotional. They feel everything very strongly. That's why they became telepaths. They needed to share feelings to survive." Jake thought about this. Humans were not telepaths. Human thoughts stayed private. Maybe that was better. Some human thoughts were not nice to share. "Who's going to do the touching?" Jake asked. Emma answered. "We picked Danny Wells. He's one of Ryan's Marines. Very calm personality. Good mental health. The psychologist tested him. He handles stress well." Jake knew Danny. He was a good soldier, about 30 years old, with a quiet way of speaking. Danny came from a small town and joined the military to see the world. Now he would be the first human to touch an alien mind. "Where is Danny now?" Jake asked. "Medical bay," Ryan said. "Final health check. We want to make sure he's in perfect condition." Jake nodded. Everything had to be perfect. One mistake could ruin humanity's chance to join the galactic community. Earth needed allies. The planet was getting crowded and resources were running low. The aliens had technology that could help. They had shown humans pictures of amazing cities and machines that could do impossible things. "Captain, incoming message from the station," Amy said. She was listening to her headphones and typing on her computer. "The Zellari delegation has arrived. They're ready to meet us. Jake felt his heart beat faster. How long until we dock? 4 hours, Ryan answered. Good, everyone get some rest. Eat something. Check your equipment one more time. Jake looked at each person on the bridge. This is the most important day in human history. Let's not mess it up. The crew left the bridge to prepare. Jake stayed behind with Ryan. They had served together for 10 years. Ryan was the only person who knew how nervous Jake really felt. Think. It will work? Ryan asked quietly. Jake looked at the crystal station on the screen. Has to work. Earth is counting on us. The aliens seem friendly enough. All their messages talk about peace and cooperation. They want to help us. Maybe, Jake said. But we don't really know them yet. We've only talked through radio. This touching thing, it makes me nervous, Ryan understood. Humans didn't like strangers in their minds. Privacy was important too. Human culture. The idea of sharing thoughts with aliens felt wrong somehow. Danny will be fine, Ryan said. He's been training for months. Meditation, mental exercises, positive thinking. If anyone can handle it, he can. Jake hoped Ryan was right. The Zellari had explained that the mind touch only lasted a few seconds. Just long enough to establish friendly contact and basic communication. They said it felt like sharing a dream with someone. Pleasant and peaceful, but what if human minds were different? What if human thoughts were too strange for aliens to understand? What if something went wrong? Sir, message from Earth, Amy called. Out. She had returned to her station. President Martinez wants to speak with you. Jake took the call in his private office. The president's face appeared on his screen, transmitted across billions of miles of space. Captain Morrison, the whole world, is watching. Are you ready? As ready as we can be, sir. The crew is prepared? Our diplomat knows the protocols? Everything should go smoothly. Good, remember, this isn't just about making friends. We need their technology. Our scientists say their power systems could solve Earth's energy problems. Their medical knowledge could cure diseases we can't even treat. Jake understood the pressure. Earth's governments had spent enormous amounts of money on this mission. People expected results. We'll do our best, sir. I know you will. Good luck, Captain. The call ended. Jake sat alone in his office, thinking about the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. If this meeting went well, humanity would join. A community of advanced alien races. If it went badly, Earth might remain alone in the universe forever. He looked at the mission files on his desk. Pictures of the Zellari showed tall, thin beings with pale, almost transparent skin. Their faces were gentle, with large eyes that seemed kind. Their messages spoke of peace, wisdom, and the joy of meeting new friends among the stars. Jake wanted to believe they were as friendly as they seemed. But he had been a soldier before becoming a ship captain. He knew that first impressions could be wrong. Still, humanity had to take this chance. The alternative was staying on Earth until the planet's resources ran out. 3 hours later, Jake stood in the docking bay with his contact team. Danny Wells looked calm in his dress uniform. Emma Foster carried her diplomatic briefcase. Dr. Carter held her scientific instruments. Everyone was ready to make history. The New Horizon connected to the alien station with a soft thud. Jake opened the airlock door. Beyond it lay humanity's future among the stars. The alien station smelled like flowers and metal. Jake Morrison stepped through the airlock first, followed by his contact team. The walls around them glowed with soft blue light that seemed to come from inside the crystal material itself. Everything was smooth and curved, nothing like the straight lines and sharp corners of human ships. Temperature is perfect, Dr. Lisa Carter whispered, checking her instruments. Air is clean and safe to breathe. The hallway ahead stretched for about 50 feet before opening into a larger room. Their footsteps echoed strangely in the quiet. Space. Jake noticed that gravity felt normal, maybe a little lighter than Earth normal. The aliens had worked hard to make humans comfortable. Stay close together, Commander Ryan Brooks said quietly to his security team. 3 Marines walked behind the main group, dressed in formal uniforms but ready for trouble. Ryan didn't expect problems, but he was paid to worry about everything. Emma Foster checked her translation device one more time. The small computer could turn Zalari words into English and English words into Zalari. But for the mind touch ceremony, no translation would be needed. Thoughts would flow directly between species. They reached the end of the hallway and entered a circular room with a high ceiling. The walls were made of the same glowing crystal as the rest of the station. In the center of the room stood 3 tall figures that could only be the Zalari. Jake had seen pictures, but meeting them in person was different. They were nearly 7 feet tall and very thin, like basketball players who had stretched even. Taller, their skin was pale white with a blue glow underneath, as if light was moving through their bodies. They wore simple robes that flowed around them like water. The oldest Zalari stepped forward. Her face was ancient but peaceful, with large eyes that held deep wisdom. When she spoke, her voice was soft and musical. "Welcome, humans from Earth. I am High Counselor Vithara, speaker for my people. We greet you with open hearts and minds." Emma stepped forward and bowed slightly as she had practiced. "Thank you, High Counselor. I am Emma Foster, speaking for humanity. We are honored to meet you." Vithara gestured to the other 2 Zalari. "This is my aide, Counselor Morthen." The middle alien bowed. He looked younger than Vithara, but older than the 3rd Zalari. "And this is Kestai, our telepath for today's ceremony." Kestai was clearly the youngest of the 3. She moved with nervous energy, like a young person meeting important strangers. Her large eyes looked at each human with curiosity and excitement. "The ceremony is simple," Vithara explained. "Kestai will touch the mind of one human. This creates understanding between our species. We will share peaceful thoughts and friendship. The contact lasts only moments but creates bonds that last forever." Emma nodded. "We understand." "Marine Sergeant Danny Wells will participate for humanity." Danny stepped forward. He was average height for a human, which made him look small next to the tall aliens. His dark hair was cut short in military style, and his brown eyes stayed calm and steady. He had spent months preparing for this moment. "I am ready," Danny said simply. Kestai moved closer. Up close, Jake could see that her skin was not solid. White, but had patterns of light moving underneath like slow lightning. Her eyes were twice as large as human eyes and completely silver in color. "Do not fear," Kestai said to Danny. Her voice was even softer than Vithara's. "I will share. Only good thoughts. You will feel peace and welcome." Danny nodded. "I'm not afraid." The humans and aliens formed a circle around Danny and Kestai. Dr. Carter held her medical scanner ready to check Danny's health during the contact. Dr. Kevin Miller watched carefully, ready to help if something went wrong with Danny's mind. Kestai raised her long, thin hands toward Danny's face. Her fingers were longer than human fingers and seemed to glow with their own light. Danny stood perfectly still as her hands came closer to his forehead. "Think peaceful thoughts," Kestai whispered. "Think of your home, your family, things that make you happy." Danny closed his eyes and thought about his childhood home in Ohio, green fields, summer days, his mother's cooking. Simple, peaceful. Memories that should be safe to share with aliens. Kestai's fingertips touched Danny's forehead. For a moment, nothing happened. The room was completely quiet. Everyone held their breath, waiting to see history being made. Then Kestai's silver eyes went wide with shock. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out at first. Her hands began to shake against Danny's head. "What's wrong?" Dr. Carter asked, stepping forward. Suddenly, Kestai screamed. It was not a human scream, but something much worse, a sound of pure terror that seemed to come from her entire body. The crystal walls picked up the sound and made it echo. Around the room like a siren, Kestai fell backward, her hands leaving Danny's forehead. She hit the floor hard and began shaking all over. Her eyes rolled back so only the white parts showed. Strange lights flashed under her skin like lightning during a storm. "Kestai!" Morthen rushed to her side, but when he touched her, he jerked his hand back with a gasp of pain. High Counselor Vithara stepped backward, her peaceful face now showing fear and anger. "What have you done?" she demanded, looking at the humans. Danny stood exactly where he had been, completely unharmed and confused. I don't understand. I didn't do anything. I just thought about home. Dr. Carter knelt beside Kestai with her medical scanner, but Morthen pushed her away. Do not touch her. Your kind has already caused enough damage. Jake felt the situation spinning out of control. High Counselor, please. We want to help. Our doctor can help? Vithara's voice was no longer soft and musical. It was sharp and cold. Your species claims to be peaceful, but your minds are filled with violence. Kestai saw the truth of what you are. Ryan moved his hand closer to his weapon, ready to protect his people if the aliens became dangerous. The 3 Marines behind him did the same. Emma stepped between the groups, trying to prevent a fight. Please, let's stay calm, Emma said. We can figure out what went wrong. There must be some misunderstanding. Kestai suddenly stopped shaking. She sat up slowly, her silver eyes now focused but filled with terror. When she looked at Danny, she screamed again and tried to crawl away from him. Monster, she whispered in her musical voice. Predator killer, so much death in his mind. So much blood and violence. How do you live with such darkness? Danny looked, hurt and confused. I'm not a killer. I've never hurt anyone who didn't deserve it. I'm a good person. Good? Morthen helped Kestai stand up, but she could barely walk. She saw your thoughts, human. She saw the violence that lives inside your mind. The weapons, the wars, the desire to hunt and kill. That's not true, Danny said. I was thinking about my home, my family, happy memories. Kestai managed to speak through her fear. Underneath the happy thoughts, underneath everything, there is darkness, ancient darkness. The need to hurt, to fight, to destroy. Every human carries it. How do you bear such terrible minds? High Counselor Vithara looked at each human with new suspicion. If this is what humanity truly is, then you cannot join the galactic community. Telepathic species across the galaxy would be traumatized by contact with your kind. Jake felt their dream of joining the stars slipping away. High Counselor, please give us a chance to explain. Danny is one of our most peaceful people. If there's something in human minds that's different? Vithara's voice rose. Your minds are weapons. Kestai may never recover from what she experienced. She touched the surface of one human mind and found an ocean of violence. Dr. Miller stepped forward. High Counselor, may I suggest something? Human minds may work differently than Zalari minds. What seems like violence to you might be something else entirely. What else could such darkness be? Morthen demanded. He was supporting Kestai, who still shook when she looked at any human. Survival instincts, Dr. Miller said carefully. Humans evolved on a dangerous world. We had to learn to fight to survive. But we also learned to control those instincts, to use them for protection instead of harm. Vithara was not convinced. The galactic community will not accept a species that traumatizes telepaths with their very thoughts. You must leave immediately. Emma tried one more time. Please, give us a chance to understand what happened. We came here in peace. We want to learn and grow. Surely there's a way to work together. But Kestai spoke again, her voice weak but clear. I saw into the deep places of his mind. I saw humanity's true nature. They are not like us. They are not like any species in the galaxy. They are predators wearing masks of civilization. The room fell silent except for the quiet hum of the station systems. Jake looked at his team and saw the same disappointment in their faces that he felt in his heart. They had come so far, prepared so carefully, hoped so much. Now it was all falling apart because of something they didn't even understand. We need time to study this, Jake said finally, to understand what went wrong. There is nothing to study, Vithara replied coldly. Your true nature has been revealed. The meeting is over. The first contact between humans and aliens had lasted less than 10 minutes, and it had failed completely. The human team sat in their ship's meeting room, staring at the table in silence. 2 hours had passed since the failed contact ceremony, and no one knew what to say. Jake Morrison looked at each member of his crew and saw the same confusion and disappointment he felt. I still don't understand what happened, Danny Wells said for the 10th time. He sat with his head in his hands, looking like he had done something terrible. I was thinking about home, happy memories. Nothing violent. Dr. Kevin Miller had been reviewing the brain scans he took during the ceremony. Danny, your thoughts were peaceful. The scanner shows normal brain activity, nothing unusual or aggressive. Whatever the alien saw, it wasn't in your conscious mind. Then what was it? Emma Foster asked. She had spent the last hour trying to contact the Zalari, but they refused to answer her messages. They acted like Danny was some kind of monster. Dr. Lisa Carter looked up from her computer screen. She had been researching everything the humans knew about Zalari telepathy. I think I might understand what happened, but you're not going to like it. Everyone turned to look at her. Lisa was the expert on alien biology, so her opinion mattered most. The Zalari don't just read surface thoughts, Lisa explained. Their telepathy goes deeper. They access what we might call the unconscious mind. The parts of the brain that store memories and instincts we're not aware of. What kind of memories? Jake asked. Evolutionary memories. Genetic memories. The basic programming that helped humans survive for millions of years. Lisa pulled up images on the wall screen showing human evolution. Think about it. Humans came. From hunters and warriors, we had to fight to survive on Earth. Dr. Miller nodded slowly. Every human brain carries the patterns that kept our ancestors alive. The ability to recognize threats, to fight when necessary, to kill when survival depended on it. But that's just biology, Danny said. I'm not a killer because my great-great-great-grandfather had to hunt animals. To us, it's just biology, Lisa agreed. But to a telepath, those deep brain patterns might feel like actual thoughts and memories. The alien didn't just touch your current mind, Danny. She touched millions of years of human evolution. Emma understood first. So when she looked into his mind, she saw every violent thing humans ever did to survive. Worse than that, Lisa said quietly. She probably felt it. Zalari telepathy doesn't just show thoughts, it shares emotions. She experienced what it feels like to be a predator. The room fell silent as everyone thought about this. Jake imagined what it would be like for a peaceful alien to suddenly feel the hunting instincts of ancient humans. No wonder Kestai had screamed. What do we do now? Ryan Brooks asked. The aliens won't talk to us. They think we're too dangerous. We have to make them understand, Emma said. Humans aren't controlled by those old instincts. We've learned to use them for good things, not bad things. Jake stood up and walked to the window. The alien station still floated nearby, but it felt farther away than ever. How do we explain evolution to aliens who never had to fight to survive? Dr. Miller had an idea. What if we show them? We could let them scan other human minds with permission, show them how we control those instincts. Would anyone volunteer for that? Ryan asked. After what happened to the alien? I would, Danny said immediately. This is my fault. I should try to fix it. It's not your fault, Lisa told him. You couldn't control what millions of years of evolution put in your brain. Jake made a decision. We need to talk to them again. Emma, keep trying to contact the station. Tell them we want to explain what happened. While Emma worked on contacting the aliens, Lisa continued studying the problem. She read everything humans knew about other alien species the Zalari had met. All of them had been herbivores, plant-eaters who had never been predators. None had ever needed to hunt or fight to survive. Captain, Amy Chun called from the communications station. The Zalari are sending a message. Put it on the main screen, Jake ordered. High Counselor Vithara appeared on the screen, but she looked different. Her peaceful face was now cold and distant. Captain Morrison, we have decided that humans cannot join the galactic community. Your species is too dangerous. High Counselor, please listen, Jake said. We think we understand what happened. We'd like to explain. There is nothing to explain. We have contacted the Galactic Council and reported our findings. All telepathic species will be warned about human mental violence. Emma stepped forward. With respect, High Counselor, you didn't see violence, you saw evolution? Let us show you the difference. Evolution toward violence is still violence, Vithara replied. Your minds contain patterns of aggression that no civilized species should possess. Dr. Miller joined the conversation. High Counselor, may I ask about your own evolution? How did the Zolari survive on their homeworld? Vithara seemed surprised by the question. We were never in danger. Our world has no large predators. We lived in peaceful herds, sharing thoughts and emotions. Cooperation was always more useful than conflict. That's beautiful, Miller said, but Earth was different. Humans faced constant danger. We had to develop the ability to fight or we would have died out completely. Then perhaps you should have died out, Vithara said coldly. The galaxy would be safer. The words hit Jake like a punch to the stomach. These aliens who claimed to value all life were suggesting that humanity should never have existed. Lisa stepped up to the screen. High Counselor, the same instincts that help humans fight also help us protect others. We use our aggressive abilities to defend the weak and innocent. We've learned to turn survival instincts into heroism. Impossible, Vithara said. Violence cannot create good. But it can, Danny said, speaking for the first time since the screen turned on. Every day, human soldiers protect people who can't protect themselves. Police officers risk their lives to stop criminals. Firefighters run into burning buildings to save strangers. We use our strength to help others. Kestai appeared beside Vithara on the screen. She still looked shaken, but she was listening carefully to what the humans said. The darkness I felt in your mind, Kestai said to Danny. You claim you use it for good? Not the darkness itself, Danny replied. But the strength that comes with it? The courage, the determination, the willingness to face danger. Those things help me protect people. Dr. Carter had been thinking about the problem from a scientific angle. High Counselor, what if we could show you how human minds actually work? Not through telepathy, but through our own technology? What do you mean? Vithara asked. Brain scans. Computer images of human thoughts and emotions. You could see how we control our instincts, how we choose to help instead of harm. Kestai looked interested. That might be safer than direct telepathic contact. But Vithara was not convinced. Even if some humans can control their violent nature, the risk is too great. One uncontrolled human mind could traumatize telepaths across the galaxy. Jake felt frustration building inside him. These aliens were judging all of humanity based on one brief misunderstood contact. High Counselor, you say you value peace and understanding? Where is your understanding for us? We understand enough, Vithara replied. You are predators. Predators cannot be trusted. Then you understand nothing, Jake said, his voice getting louder. You see only the surface. You don't see the human who runs into a burning building to save a child. You don't see the soldier who gives his life to protect civilians. You don't see the millions of humans who choose kindness over cruelty every single day. Ryan put a hand on Jake's shoulder, trying to calm him down. But Jake was too angry to stop. You claim to be telepaths who understand emotions, but you can't understand the most important human emotion of all, love. The love that makes us fight to protect others. The love that makes us risk everything for strangers. The love that brought us to the stars looking for friends. Kestai was staring at Jake with her large silver eyes. The emotion you speak of, I felt traces of it in the human's mind, but it was buried under so much darkness. The darkness protects the light, Danny sighed quietly. That's what you don't understand. Humans learned to be dangerous so we could protect the things we love. Vithara was quiet for a long moment. Then she spoke again, her voice softer than before. Even if what you say is true, the Galactic Council will not accept the risk. 2. Many species would be hurt by contact with human minds. Then we're back where we started, Jake said. Alone, the screen went dark. The aliens had ended the conversation. Jake looked around at his crew and saw his own feelings reflected in their faces. They had come so close to joining the galactic community, only to be rejected because of what They were, but as Jake thought about it more, he realized something important. The aliens were afraid of humans not because humans were evil, but because humans were different. And maybe, just maybe, that difference could be valuable in ways the aliens didn't understand yet. 3 days passed without any word from the Zalari station. Jake Morrison had tried every way he could think of to restart talks, but the aliens would not answer human messages. The New Horizon floated in space like a rejected visitor, unwelcome. And alone, Jake was reading reports in his office when Amy Chen's voice came over the ship radio. "Captain, we're getting a transmission from the station. It's not from the High Counselor, it's from the young telepath." Jake hurried to the bridge. On the main screen, Kestai appeared. She looked tired and scared, but she was trying to speak. Calmly, "Captain Morrison, I am contacting you without permission from my superiors. I need to understand what happened when I touched the human mind." Emma Foster quickly joined the conversation. "Kestai, we want to help you understand. We've been hoping for a chance to explain. The High Counselor believes humans are too dangerous for the galaxy," Kestai said. "But I keep thinking about what the human soldier said, about using darkness to protect light. I do not understand how this is possible." Dr. Lisa Carter moved closer to the screen. "Kestai, may I ask you something? What did you actually feel when you touched Danny's mind?" Kestai was quiet for a moment, remembering. "I felt hunger. Not for food, but for victory, for dominance. I felt the desire to hunt, to chase, to kill. It was terrifying." "But what else did you feel?" Dr. Kevin Miller asked. "Was there anything besides those hunting instincts?" "Yes," Kestai said slowly. "There was something else. Something that fought against the darkness. It was dorm, protective, like a parent defending a child." Danny Wells had been listening from the back of the bridge. Now he stepped forward. "That's exactly right. The protective feeling. That's what makes us human." "I do not understand," Kestai admitted. "How can the same mind contain both darkness and light?" Lisa had been thinking about this question for days. "Kestai, may I show you something? Not through telepathy, but through our computers. What do you want to show me?" "Human history. The real story of how we learn to control our instincts." Lisa began typing on her computer. "I'm sending you files about human heroes, people who used their strength to help others." Images appeared on both screens, showing the information. Lisa was transmitting. Pictures of human soldiers protecting civilians, firefighters saving people from burning buildings, police officers stopping criminals, doctors treating sick children. "These humans all have the same basic instincts you felt in Danny's mind," Lisa explained. "The ability to fight, to be aggressive, to dominate. But look what they chose to do. With those abilities," Kestai studied the images. "They use their predator instincts to protect prey animals. We use our strength to protect those who cannot protect themselves," Danny corrected. "Other humans, yes, but also anyone who needs help." Dr. Miller pulled up brain scans on his computer. "Kestai, look at these. This is Danny's brain when he's thinking about protecting others. See how the same areas that control aggression also light up when he feels protective love?" The alien telepath stared at the brain scans with fascination. "The same neural pathways serve both functions?" "Exactly," Miller said. "Human brains evolved to be complex. We can be dangerous when we need to be, but we can also choose to use that danger to help others." "But why?" Kestai asked. "Why would predators protect prey?" Emma stepped forward. "Because we're not just predators, Kestai. We're also pack animals. We protect members of our pack. Over time, humans learn to expand the definition of our pack. Now it includes anyone who needs protection." Jake had been listening to the conversation, and suddenly he understood something important. "Kestai, your people evolved as herd animals, right? Peaceful plant eaters who shared thoughts and feelings?" "Yes, we survived through cooperation and empathy." "But what would happen if your herd was attacked by predators?" Jake asked. Kess single quotes Ty seemed confused by the question. "We would run away. Or hide. My people do not fight. But what if you couldn't run? What if the predators cornered your family, your children?" I do not know. This never happened to us. It happened to humans all the time, Jake said. And we learned that sometimes running isn't enough. Sometimes you have to fight to protect the people you love. Dr. Carter added, "The violence you felt in Danny's mind isn't random aggression, Kestai. It's protective instinct. The willingness to become dangerous when danger threatens others." Kestai was quiet for a long time, thinking about what the humans had told her. Finally, she spoke again. "Show me more examples. I want to understand this concept of protective violence." For the next hour, the human crew shared stories and images with the young alien. They showed her videos of human parents protecting their children, stories of strangers helping each other during disasters, examples of humans risking their own lives to save others, even people they had never met. "This human," Kestai said, pointing to a picture of a firefighter carrying a child from a burning building. "He could be hurt or killed trying to save someone else's offspring. Why does he take this risk?" "Because it's the right thing to do," Danny said simply. "Because that child needs help, and he has the ability to provide it, even though the child is not related to him, not part of his pack." "All children are part of our pack now," Emma explained. "All innocent people are part of our pack. That's how humans have grown." Kestai seemed amazed by this idea. "Your species has expanded its protective instincts to include ... everyone?" "Not everyone, unfortunately," Jake admitted. "Humans still fight each other sometimes. We're not perfect, but we're trying to get better. And the darkness I felt, the desire to hunt and kill, it's still there," Danny said honestly. "But we've learned to point it at the right targets. Humans fight against injustice, against those who hurt innocent people, against problems that threaten our survival." Dr. Miller pulled up more brain scans. "Look at this, Kestai. This is Danny's brain when he thinks about stopping a criminal who hurts children. The same aggressive instincts activate, but they're channeled toward protection." "So the darkness serves the light," Kestai said, slowly, understanding finally beginning to show in her voice. "Exactly," Lisa said. "Human aggression isn't separate from human compassion. They work together. We become dangerous to protect those we care about." Suddenly, another voice came through the transmission. High Counselor Vithara had discovered Kestai's unauthorized conversation. "Kestai, return to your quarters immediately. You should not be speaking with these creatures." But Kestai didn't move away from her screen. "High Counselor, I think we have misunderstood the humans. Their minds are not simply violent. They are complex. Complex or not, they are still dangerous." Vithara replied, "Come away from there now." "High Counselor," Jake said, "your telepath is beginning to understand something important. Please, give us a chance to show you what we've shown her." "I have seen enough," Vithara said coldly, but Kestai spoke up. "No, you have not seen enough. You felt my fear and decided humans were monsters, but I understand now that my fear was wrong." "Kestai, you are young and easily confused by alien manipulation," Vithara said. "I am not confused," Kestai replied, her voice growing stronger. "I was terrified by the darkness in the human mind because I had never experienced protective instincts before. Our people never needed them. But now I see that darkness and light can exist together." Dr. Carter had an idea. "High Counselor, what if we could show you human protective instincts without telepathic contact? We have virtual reality technology that could let you experience human emotions safely." "Virtual reality?" Vithara asked. "Computer simulations that feel real but cannot hurt you," Carter explained. "You could experience what it feels like to protect someone you love without touching an actual human mind." Kestai looked excited. "High Counselor, this could help us understand them completely. We could see their full nature, not just the frightening parts." Vithara was quiet for a moment. Jake held his breath, hoping the alien leader would give humanity one more chance. "Very well," Vithara said finally. "We will examine your virtual reality. But if this is another trick, it's not a trick," Jake promised. "It's a chance for real understanding between our species." "Then we shall see," Vithara said. "But I warn you, humans, If your true nature is as dark as I believe, no amount of clever words will save you. The transmission ended, but for the first time in days, Jake felt hope. They had one more chance to prove that humanity deserved a place. Among the stars, the meeting room on the alien station had been changed for the virtual reality demonstration. Human technicians had spent 2 days setting up the equipment while Zalari scientists watched carefully. Now High Counselor Vithara stood before a chair connected to wires and screens, looking nervous about what she was about to experience. The simulation is completely safe, Dr. Lisa Carter explained for the third time. You will experience human emotions and memories, but they are just computer programs. They cannot hurt you. Kestai stood beside her leader, encouraging her to try the demonstration. High Counselor, I have tested the device myself. It is not like telepathic contact. The feelings are gentler, easier to understand. Captain Jake. Morrison watched from the side of the room with his crew. This was humanity's last chance to prove they belonged among the stars. If the virtual reality demonstration failed, Earth would remain alone in the universe. What exactly will I experience? Vithara asked Dr. Kevin Miller, who had designed the simulation program. 3 different scenarios, Miller explained. First, you'll experience what it feels like to be a human parent protecting a child from danger. Second, you'll feel what a human soldier experiences when defending innocent people. Third, you'll experience the emotions of someone helping strangers during a disaster. And these simulations are based on real human experiences? Yes, we recorded the brain patterns and emotional responses of actual humans in these situations. You'll feel exactly what they felt. Vithara looked at the device one more time, then sat down in the chair. Very well. Show me what you claim makes humans worthy of the galaxy's trust. Dr. Miller activated the program. Starting with Scenario 1. You are now experiencing the emotions of Sarah Williams, a mother from Earth. The room filled with soft light as the virtual reality began. Vithara's eyes closed and her expression changed as the simulation took effect. Through the virtual reality, Vithara experienced Sarah Williams running through a burning building to save her 5-year-old daughter. She felt the mother's terror, not for herself but for her child. She felt the fierce determination that pushed Sarah through smoke and flames. Ignoring her own safety completely, when Sarah found her daughter trapped under fallen debris, Vithara experienced something the Zalari had never known. The surge of protective fury that gave Sarah impossible strength to lift the heavy wood beam. The absolute certainty that she would die before letting harm come to her child. But along with the fierce protectiveness came overwhelming love. Love so strong it transformed fear into courage, weakness into strength, desperation into hope. The first simulation ended. Vithara opened her eyes, looking stunned. What did you feel? Kestai asked gently. Power, Vithara said slowly. Dangerous. Power, but it was not turned outward toward enemies. It was turned inward toward protecting something precious. That's exactly right, Daniwell said. Human strength comes from love, not hate. Dr. Miller started the second simulation. Now you're experiencing the emotions of Lieutenant Marcus Johnson, a human soldier. This time, Vithara experienced a human military officer during a peacekeeping mission. Enemy fighters had attacked a school full of children. Lieutenant Johnson felt the same aggressive instincts that had terrified Kestai during the original Mind Touch. The desire to fight, to hunt, to dominate, but Vithara also felt why those instincts activated. Johnson's fury was not random violence. It was carefully controlled anger directed at people who threatened innocence. Every tactical decision, every aggressive action was calculated to protect civilians, not to cause unnecessary harm. When Johnson risked his life to evacuate children from the school, Vithara felt the soldier's willingness to die for strangers. The same predatory instincts that made him dangerous also made him a guardian. The second simulation ended. Vithara was quiet for a long moment. The aggression was still there, she said finally, but it was Daucus purposeful. Human warriors don't fight because they enjoy violence, Commander Ryan Brooks explained. They fight because someone needs to be protected. The third simulation began. This time, Vithara experienced the emotions of Dr. Angela Martinez during a massive earthquake. She felt the exhaustion of working for 3 days straight without sleep, treating injured victims. She felt the physical pain of lifting heavy debris to search for survivors, but she also felt the deep satisfaction of saving lives. The joy of finding someone alive in the rubble. The determination to keep working even when her body wanted to collapse, because people needed help. When the simulation ended, Vithara sat in silence for several minutes. The room was completely quiet as everyone waited for her response. "I understand now," she said finally. "The darkness I felt in human minds is not evil. It is ... potential. The potential for great destruction or great protection." "That's exactly what we've been trying to tell you," Jake said. "Humans have the choice. We can use our strength to hurt or to help. Most of us choose to help." Kestai moved closer to Vithara. "High Counselor, I felt the same protective instincts when I experienced the simulations. They are beautiful in their own way." But Vithara still looked troubled. "Even if individual humans can control their aggressive nature, what about your species as a whole? What happens when millions of predator minds work together?" Emma Foster stepped forward. "High Counselor, let me show you something else." She activated a different program on the virtual reality device. "This is not a simulation. This is actual recorded history from Earth." The screens around the room showed images from human history. But these were not scenes of war or violence. They showed humans working together to solve problems. Scientists from different countries sharing research to cure diseases. Rescue workers from around the world rushing to help after natural disasters. Space missions where humans from many nations cooperated to explore the stars. "When humans work together, we accomplish incredible things," Emma explained. "Yes, we sometimes fight each other. But we also help each other in ways that no other species in the galaxy has ever attempted." Dr. Carter added more information. "High Counselor, humans are the only species that has united an entire planet under one goal. We have wars, but we also have peace treaties. We compete, but we also cooperate. We've learned to channel our aggressive instincts into positive competition that benefits everyone." Vithara studied the images carefully. "Your species fights itself, then helps itself?" "Sometimes at the same time," Jake admitted. "Human nature is complicated. But overall, we're moving toward more cooperation and less conflict." "And what about the galactic community?" Vithara asked. "How do we know humans will not try to dominate other species?" Danny spoke up. "Because we came here seeking friendship, not conquest. We could have built weapons and tried to force our way into the galaxy. Instead, we built exploration ships and came asking to be friends." Dr. Miller had been monitoring Vithara's brain activity during the simulations. "High Counselor, the virtual reality device can work both ways. Would you be willing to share your experiences with us? To let us understand how Zalari minds work?" Vithara considered this. "You would want to experience our thoughts?" "If you're willing, understanding should work both ways." Vithara agreed, and Dr. Miller reversed the device. Now the humans experienced what it felt like to be a Zalari. They felt the constant awareness of others' emotions. The deep empathy that made it impossible to hurt another being without feeling that same pain. The beautiful harmony of minds working together in perfect cooperation, but they also felt something the Zalari might not have realized about themselves. Fear, deep, overwhelming fear of anything different or dangerous. The kind of fear that made it hard to take risks or try new things. When the reverse simulation ended, Jake understood both species much better. "High Counselor, I think our species need each other," Jake said. "Humans have the courage to face danger, but sometimes we act without thinking about the consequences. Zalari have the wisdom to consider everyone's feelings, but sometimes you're too afraid to take necessary action." "What are you suggesting?" Vithara asked. "Partnership. Humans and Zalari working together. Our courage balanced by your wisdom, your empathy balanced by our determination." Kestai looked excited. We could teach humans to be more empathetic. They could teach us to be more brave. Vithara stood up, slowly, thinking about everything she had experienced. The Galactic Council will not easily accept humans. Many species will fear your aggressive nature. Then let us prove ourselves gradually, Emma suggested. Start with small missions. Let humans show that we can work peacefully with other species. And if you encounter the dangers that peaceful species cannot handle? Vithara asked. Then we'll handle them, Jake said simply. That's what we're good at. Vithara was quiet for a long moment. Then she made her decision. I will speak to the Galactic Council. I will tell them that humans are not monsters. You are warriors who choose to protect instead of destroy. The galaxy has been fortunate to avoid serious threats until now, but such fortune cannot last forever. Perhaps it is time we had guardians. Jake felt relief wash over him. Thank you, High Counselor. Do not thank me yet, Vithara warned. The Council may still reject humanity, but I will argue that your strength, properly guided, could protect species that cannot protect themselves.